everyone. It's so good to see people out here. Hope you're having a good day, and hopefully you're warm, like Jilliann respectively is. Where are you podcasting from again, Jilliann?
I am podcasting from West Texas right now, and it is pretty chilly here, which people here are not used to that. So I've already heard the complaining starting. So.
And I'm in South Dakota, and the wind chill this morning was 30 below zero, and we have not stopped complaining since we got to November. Oh my gosh. Well, we were just talking back before the show started about Comic-Con and how we're hoping that it can get going again. So I figure we're pretty Comic-Con faring people. We've been to 2 so far, so we're totally able to talk about the do's and don'ts to people who probably have gone to 50. So what was it? Because we met in college, and how exactly did it come about that I just sprung on you? Let's go to Comic-Con. I can't remember.
I don't remember. I remember it was going to be because we went to school like somewhat close to Chicago, within driving distance. So
it was acceptable.
It was acceptable to do. And I think one day you were like, C2E2 is like this day, and what was it? Was it March or February, that first year we went? I think it was March.
Yeah.
Because I think it was after spring break. And so you were just like, oh, let's go to this thing, and I can't remember if you said you wanted to go on like for the entire weekend, and then it didn't work out because like something happened. So we went on a Sunday, and it was like after a test that we had or something like that. It was after instrumentation. And so but yeah, and I'd gotten sick, so I hadn't taken the test yet, so I was studying in the car on the way to Comic-Con.
Yes.
But I think you got a really good deal or something like that for day pass, and you were like, do you want to go? And I was like, sure, I guess. I had never been to one before, so
I think
that's just how it came about. Is you were like, you were your usual Katie self, and you're like, let's go. So and I will do basically anything Katie wants me to do. So
I'm so glad you said yes, because oh my gosh, it was perfect experiencing it with someone who hadn't been to one before. Because like I hadn't been either, and I just thought, okay, we have to do this. And I think it was a Christmas sale. It was for C2E2 in Chicago, and it was definitely like, it was $35 for a day. Which, for anyone who doesn't know, C2E2, that's the picture we have right there. It's huge. It's at the McCormick Place in Chicago. And I definitely remember the chaos of that test. And I also remember the chaos of, I thought, oh, I know people who like to cosplay. I make costumes. I'm going to do Doodle Bob from SpongeBob. My gosh, it wouldn't fit in my trunk. We had to call my dad.
Oh yes, the car debacle. Yes, we both have like smaller sized cars, and we were so confident that we were gonna get Katie's Doodle Bob cosplay in one of our trunks, and it didn't happen. And so, luckily, your parents live within, again, a driving distance of the college, and were able to bring their minivan, and yeah, there we are.
That thing was like an inch away from fitting in my trunk. So I think that's the first do of Comic-Con, is if you do want to cosplay, measure your car.
Especially if you're going to be in basically a box.
that thing, I mean, I had to fit it over my butt and everything, so it was thick. So, oh my gosh, hey, Troy, popping in. What is it? Let's see. So there was a time I could have met you in person. Yes, and hopefully again. Well, I think they said, when was the next one? December, you said?
It's December, I think, 10th through the 13th, or no, 10th through the 12th.
Ooh.
So it's beginning of December, but it should work out with my semester if COVID would just stop.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's the real question. Oh my gosh. That's another thing too that is super important, and I don't think a lot of people think about it when they think of either going to their first con or several cons in, is take vitamin C, because you can catch con crud.
Yes, definitely.
Did you get
I
it?
did. I got the flu last year after we got back. It was literally it was the Monday after, because we did the 3-day last year, and I was driving back home on Monday, and I could literally feel something was wrong, and it was the flu. I swear it wasn't COVID. I got tested, and it was the flu. So it wasn't COVID. So, because that's when like COVID started like popping up in Chicago, and we were like, this is probably not a good situation. But
it was really amazing we got it off, because I distinctly remember my parents dropped me off at the airport for me to fly back to Omaha, and my mom said, "Oh, Chicago just reported its first COVID death," and I went, and then you text me and you're like, so I'm sick. I'm like, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, I wore a mask and everything to the urgent care because I didn't know if it was COVID, because I had just traveled to Texas to, I'm in grad school, so I was touring a college. I had been at McCormick Place, which like C2E2 has like 95,000 people that come to this thing. And so I didn't know if it was COVID, and like it's, the pandemic hadn't been issued yet. It was 2 weeks later that it was finally issued. And so I didn't know what it was. And then luckily it came back as just the flu, and I got better within like a week. So that was good. But it's funny because you didn't get sick because, you're used to navigating around sneezes.
I'm insane. I was talking because this past year we went with my mom, my dad, and my brother. And my mom is just as big a germaphobe, if not more than me. And we make a game of it in stores to dodge aisles and like get around people who are coughing open mouth and stuff. So I think she went, like, I dodged, but she found a nice little corner and pretty much stayed there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And my dad got con crud too after.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he had like this cold, and I'm telling him he should get antibody tested, because for all I know, there could have been someone running around in that Star Wars LARPing group just spewing.
I forgot about that.
That's another
thing. It's more than likely that like somebody there had it probably without knowing. So.
Very true. Let's see, Troy. After COVID, it'll be something else. Get used to the new normal. Well, that's another thing I want to pick your brain on, and anyone in the comment section too. Over COVID, people have been doing virtual Comic-Cons, like David Tennant, Matt Smith, all the Doctor Who people, because I'm really into that right now, have been doing these virtual Q&As, and then they'll sign an autograph for you in the mail. What do you think? How do you think COVID will impact real Comic-Con? Do you think it'll be more virtual cons and people just won't show up anymore? Because I hear a lot of people are freaked out about that. I
could see that, yes. I think especially like with the guests that they get, especially if it like conflicts with a shooting schedule or something like that, I could totally see them using like Zoom or something like that to do a virtual panel like with people in the room, but like the person comes up virtually or whatever. Didn't they do that you went to one with David Tennant because he was supposed to be there and it was virtual? Now. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, it was my birthday, and he messaged, it's okay because his baby was in the hospital and she was sick and stuff. So everyone was understanding, and he still zoomed in, which was sweet of him. But my gosh, I was gutted. Oh, see, I think especially with like elderly people, like Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek, she was at the convention David couldn't make it to, and that was in November of 2019. I think yes. And like I could see older people avoiding the cons and just virtually doing them. But a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, these big stars, they won't come if they can just Zoom and send autographs. But people are going to want to meet them in person. That's the whole thing with conventions. So especially, it might weed out some of the people who are like, oh, I don't want to. These are just nerd things. But I think the people like David Tennant, who are huge nerds themselves, they'll still come back. So fingers crossed.
I could also see it making it more like affordable for people, because like I will bring this back around to Supernatural whenever I possibly can, because what is it? Like Katie loves Doctor Who. Oh yes, my super good shirt. and Katie loves Doctor Who. I'm the Supernatural person. But they have been doing like virtual panels, they did one towards when the end of the show happened. And it was a pay what you can. So that was nice because like creation events can get like pretty expensive. And so that's nice, but I don't know. It's nothing will replace going in person and meeting or seeing people up on stage in person and whatnot. But yeah, it's so up in the air. Things have changed so much in the last year. Like, obviously when this all started, we didn't know we were going to be here basically, a year later. So I think it's going to be up in the air, and I think it's going to take probably a couple, maybe of bigger cons to set like a precedent for COVID related things to then smaller cons may, take over stuff. But yeah, I have no idea how it's going to go. It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, see, Troy brings up a good point. Like if you're there for the Q&As, it's going to be posted online anyway, but cosplay and partying, woo! No, oh my gosh, yeah. I think we talked about the cosplay, make sure you measure your car, but we actually did a cosplay this past time. 2 cosplays. You came, I think you came straight from college dressed up in your cast cosplay.
Yes, because I had to take a midterm, and I showed up. I showed up in my Castiel cosplay because I was like, I don't have time to change at McCormick Place, so I'm going to do it beforehand and just drive with this on. And then I made your brother tie the tie for me because I had no idea how to do it. So.
That's right. Oh my gosh. And that was like my best Sam costume. And I kind of tricked my brother into doing a Dean from Super.
Which he looks like him. So
totally. He has the cheekbones.
It was relatively accurate.
So now with the cosplay, since you and I have both cosplayed at Comic-Con, do you have any do's and don'ts for people who are considering potentially trying out cosplaying at cons?
Don't wear dress shoes. I learned that the hard way. If you literally look in this picture, I went to Goodwill and found men's black dress shoes in my size somehow, and they hurt my feet the entire time. And it wasn't, these ones were better than the ones for my other one because I had another pair of dress shoes that I got.
Oh, you mean this picture that I suddenly have on my computer?
Yes, that you didn't have prepared at all.
Not at all. Let's see. There we go. Boom.
There we go. Yes, it was a little iffy. My feet kind of hurt for a few days afterwards. That's for sure.
I totally forgot. You dressed in dress shoes for 2 days.
Yep. It was not a good plan.
Rip.
So I will definitely be looking for different shoes if we ever make it. Oh yeah, you wore heels, which I was like, no.
That is a huge thing. Is you're walking these convention floors. I think I walked 10 miles in a day. I have to go back and check my pedometer and stuff. That is a lot. You are aching by the end of it. So,
especially if you go to one of the bigger ones where they have so much stuff to see in such a little amount of time, it's pretty rough.
Yes,
for sure.
The C2E2, that thing, I mean, that was larger than an airport terminal. That was just packed to the brim. And my good friend Q wanted me to include a little detail from Comic-Con here. Got the text. Also, there's a little thing about personal hygiene that everyone should know at conventions. And they wanted me to bring up. Q is one of the people that went to the first Comic-Con with us as well. And noticed that on the tables near the food area, there were sticks of deodorant as centerpieces. I think it was brilliant. But yeah, definitely do bring like body spray, not Axe, because they will hate you. Unless you're cosplaying High School Musical, in which case, great. But go with like deodorant, some sort of personal body spray, because even if other people don't. You want to smell your nice little cloud. That's the best way of putting it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Oh my gosh. And, speaking of food, both of us, the first time we went, that was just for the day, and I'm pretty sure we starved.
Yeah.
But the 3 days, I know you had to leave a day early, right?
For the 3-day one?
Yeah, the 3-day one, or no?
No, I was all 3 days. I mean, I had to leave. I ended up leaving like around 3 or 4 because I had to drive back to school, but because I was spending the night at school before I drove home the next day. So
Right.
I left I left a few hours earlier than you did, but I was still there on the 3rd day, but I didn't dress up.
So we went, didn't we? I know we just left and went to Cheesecake Factory one night, I think. Or no, that was the night when you left. We went to Giordano's several nights in a row.
We went to Giordano's 2 nights in a row, which because there was one outside of our hotel, and then there was one downtown Chicago that we went to, and then we were going to go with one of your friends that came with us last year, or we were going to go somewhere, and then we drove around trying to find a parking spot for like 45 minutes, and then I was so hungry and so tired, and I was like, Katie, we need to leave. We just need to go.
This is making me angry.
Yes. I was like, this is making me angry. We need to leave and let's just go find somewhere around the hotel. I think your dad was so happy with me because he was getting so fed up with driving around in circles. And he was just like, Katie, can we just go please eat somewhere else? And it took me saying, I'm physically getting angry. Can we please leave and go to somewhere else? And then I think we decided on Giordano's when we were driving, which I mean, it's never a bad idea.
Never. But it gets a little expensive, and that brings up right there, good point. When you go to cons, bring non-perishable munchies, because cons are expensive, and if you just park in one spot, you can walk around, you're limited to that area, or if you do what we did, you might not find a spot.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think I brought some stuff in my backpack because I knew I was going to get hungry when we were walking around, and I wanted to be able to spend my money on cool posters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think I brought some something to eat in my backpack, I think both times that I went, but I don't know if I ever ate them because I think we just were so busy doing stuff that we never ended up sitting down to eat, really.
Yeah.
So,
and that brings up another point. Scheduling. I'd love to know what you guys all do in the comments section for your schedule. But when the schedule was first released and we saw who was coming, I don't know about you, but I sat down and I circled what I wanted to go and do. Did you have any sort of scheme like that?
I looked through it. I'm very I have my specific things that I like, and I don't think I had any panelists necessarily that I wanted to see, but except Adam Savage. That was really nice to go to his panel because I loved Mythbusters growing up. So that was nice to see him. Yeah. And so I went through it to see if there was anything I necessarily I wanted to be able to go to. I didn't personally have anything, but I was kind of open to going to anything with Katie. And we went to Adam Savage, and then we went to somebody else's panel, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was. It was something that you that I can't remember what it was. It might have been Star Trek, but I can't remember. I don't remember, but we went to another thing.
No, wait, that was the first time we went.
Yeah, that was because you met Rob Paulson.
I met Rob Paulson. It was amazing. We still keep in contact on Twitter, and I freaking love it. Now, did you ever do celebrity meet and greets?
Not technically at a Comic-Con. I have the thing just off camera.
Ooh, you have the thing. Oh, because I did. I've done a couple. I was going to do one with David, but he couldn't make it to the con, so I missed out on that. But I got to meet Adam Savage and Rob Paulsen, and those two were my life. So do tell.
It wasn't at a Comic-Con. I got a notification, I think it was on Twitter. Again, we kind of went to school. We went to school, like, it's not Chicago's suburbs, but it's like within driving distance of Chicago. And so I got a notification.
Gary, you don't get the pollution.
I got a notification that Misha Collins was going to be at a bookstore in Naperville because he wrote a cookbook with his wife. And they were giving you a cookbook and basically meeting him and getting his signature for $35. And I was like, and it was like an hour and a half drive away from school. And I roped in one of my friends who wasn't Katie because Katie wasn't there as she had already graduated. And I roped in one of my other friends who likes Supernatural, and we went and got his cookbook. And I got his signature in the thing, so that was really nice. And
is it a little heart?
Yeah, he signs all of his stuff with a little heart over his signature. So
that's adorable.
So this is my prized possession as a cookbook, which is kind of sad. But I haven't met anybody else though, because I'm too afraid. I don't know what to say, so I get scared. So don't ever want to meet people.
Oh, that's a perfect segue into do's and don'ts, because when you stand in line to meet someone, you kind of overhear what they're talking about to the other people, and the do's and don'ts I'd say of meeting someone is do pretend like they're kind of a normal person. Like it's so hard to say it's like they're a god. They are a literal god at a comic book convention. And I think the best way to go about it is just be like, hi, yes. And just talk to them like you're a normal person, like you'd have a conversation, which is so much easier said than done because you are like vibrating with adrenaline, or at least I was. And
I was too.
you want to like to help save face when you're meeting your favorite person. Talk less, smile more.
Yes.
Pull an Aaron Burr from Hamilton. Like don't be too quiet, but also don't talk their ear off so that they can't say something because they might want to say something to you and you miss out on it. So I know I did something that you aren't supposed to do actually.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So you aren't supposed to video when you meet them. It's a hush hush. Here's a fun thing. Your phone has two cameras. So you take it, you put it in your pocket so that it's facing like this and it's covered up just about to here in your pocket so no one suspects it. And the audio sounds terrible, but you can still get those memories. No one knows. But no, when I met Rob Paulsen, first off, I get migraines, and Jillian knows they're bad. And I got one in line while I was waiting. I got there at probably half an hour before he got to his booth. And I was panicking, but I just popped some pills. I was like, okay, we're going to go, man. We're going to power through. And I did. So I was already in like a weird, like my brain was totally fried. But when I met Rob, I wanted to point out to him that when I was little, I had like hideous anxiety, middle school. I refused to even go to school. I was afraid to go to bed. It was terrible. I'm better now. But I told him that at 3 a.m. when I was just getting tired, his TV show would come on, and it was Cat Scratch on Nickelodeon. No one knows that show. Well, because you're great. But he voiced his character in this obscure show. And I would always fall asleep to that because it would make me feel safe. And I told it to him. And I got a little emotional in that I started crying because it was a big deal. And he stopped the line pretty much and did like a 5-minute talk with me. Like, oh my gosh, that's incredible that you did this. And like most celebrities you'll find, especially the good ones, will be kind and will pause and understand that this is probably one of the biggest moments of your life. Some of the larger stars, kind of jerks. Certain person who plays the Hulk. So just You know, he put up
I
curtains
know.
around his booth so people couldn't even see him. If you've never been to a Comic-Con before, there's an artist alley, basically. You have a line of tables with lines going out from them where all the famous people go to sign autographs and stuff. He had them put up curtains so you couldn't see him from the line. But anyway, yeah, you don't want to take up too much time unless the person you're seeing is okay with it and they start crying with you, because it was great.
Yeah, in true Misha fashion, he was like 45 minutes late because he went to college in Chicago. So they went and like somebody drove him around Chicago so like he could like, you know, reminisce or whatever. And so then he was 45 minutes late because they got stuck in traffic. And so it was like I got to say hi to him. He asked me where I was from. I told him Michigan, and he was like, "You came all the way from Michigan here?" And I was like, "Well, no, I go to school in Indiana." And he's like, "Still, you drove from Indiana?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Well, thanks for coming." And then I had to kind of move out of the way because I think they sold like over 500 like meet and greet. Like he was like, we were literally in a line zigzagged through the bookstore and out onto the street in November. And so luckily I was inside, but he had a lot of people to get through in a very short amount of time. So it was really fast, but it was still like I don't know what to say to you type of thing. So it was very nerve-wracking, but that's the only experience I've ever had as meeting a famous person. So
well, that goes right off this question, which is both of us, have you ever met a celebrity and your opinion of them changed for better or worse? Like, I think we could expand that to even, have you seen a celebrity perform on stage? Because we've gone to plenty of panels, and I think I've had one go for the better and one go for the worse. So one for the better was Donny Osmond. You know all about this. I'm pretty sure I called you when it happened.
Yeah.
I went to Vegas for the Broadcast Educator Association BEA conference my senior year of college, and everyone else wanted to get drunk, and they did. And I wanted to spend my money on something I couldn't pee in the toilet the next day. So I have opinions, but I decided I was going to go see Donny Osmond perform because I love Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was a little worried, like, okay, he seems like a nice guy, but I was a little worried. And then by the grace of God, I won a meet and greet with him. Out of all these octogenarians sitting in the audience, I was the only person with natural hair color who got the win. And I got to go up to Donnie's dressing room and do a private meet and greet with him for like 10 minutes. And he sat down and again, talked about how his music helped me with my anxiety. And he was like, I explained his anxiety too. And we spent a solid like 10 minutes talking about it and taking pictures. And I could not have prepared for that. He's just the sweetest guy. Then you get William Shatner, and that dude is insane.
Yeah.
But how about yourself?
I mean, like I said, I think the only person I've met in person is Misha. And like I said, I had such a short like period of time with him that like it was just me being like dumbfounded by the fact that he was like 2 feet away from me. And then me just walking away and like jumping up and down outside when I got outside. So, but I mean, he I don't know if he could do anything bad, but I wouldn't, he's a wonderful human being.
He seems so sweet. He's on my list of people to eventually meet.
Yeah, which you need to watch Supernatural, ma'am, at some point.
I totally do. I so do. I feel bad. I need to. But I think since we're coming up on the 30-minute mark, I want to leave with one bit of wisdom for me. And if you have a bit of wisdom as well, feel free to do it. But also, this picture, I think it's one of the only pictures that we actually took of ourselves.
Yeah.
Take pictures with people. If you go up, cosplay, one of the things that you'll hear a lot is cosplay is not consent, which is an amazing movement that's been happening because there are people who dress in very exposing costumes. And it's great because they're artists and they're doing what they love. But if you want to take a picture with them, you can't just take your phone and be like, haha. No, you have to go up and be like, is it okay if I take a picture with you? It is so appreciated. And pretty much every time they'll say go for it because they're there to show off their art. But yeah, if you take pictures, because you are so exhausted by the end of the day, you will probably forget a lot of the things that you saw. So my advice, do take a lot of pictures. Don't take them without consent.
Let's see. Any last minute tips, I guess. If you're scared of cosplaying, don't be scared. I didn't cosplay the first time I went, and that's fine if you don't cosplay. I was Katie's what is it?
Cosplay handler.
Cosplay support
Yes.
the entire time, because I held the pencil anytime like you weren't doing something. And so, but then, you know, by the time we went the second time, I was like, I really want to like show my love and appreciation for these characters, which both happen to be on my shirt right now.
Cool.
I just realized that both of them that I cosplayed are on my shirt right now, because Misha and Michael Sheen did a campaign over the
they're
summer.
real angels, and we love them.
Yes, and so I apparently have things for angels in trench coats. So it's because that they were I literally wore the same trench coat for both of them. So, but anyway, you know, if you're kind of hesitant to cosplay because you're, you know, maybe a little bit more reserved. I'm one of those people. I don't know how I became friends with Katie, who is this bubbly, amazing personality, but
that's a nice way of saying weird.
You're not weird. But I don't know. It's just, if you want to do it, I would say go for it. It's a great experience, and a lot of people will say that, you know, you have amazing costumes, or they'll be like, "Hey, Castiel," and I was like, "Yes, you're my people." So yeah, if you're scared to cosplay, I would say just, you know, go find those pieces, put it together, because when you put it all on, you're like, this looks awesome, and I'm so pumped to like actually go and like walk around in this. So
exactly. And this is a good point too, is like, go up to people if you can take pictures of them, especially the ones that maybe don't have the perfect ones, if they weren't able to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars sometimes on it. I don't remember, do you remember the 3 guys who dressed up as the Powerpuff Girls and they did paper mache heads?
Yes, it was beautiful. It was wonderful.
Amazing. They were the most ratchet Powerpuff Girls, and these were buff men, and they just had paper mache helmets. Everyone was stopping them for pictures, but it makes them feel encouraged to keep doing it, and it makes them know, like, okay, I picked a character that people will recognize. Because that's another thing too, is there's some characters from some fandoms people just don't recognize because they're not big fandoms. Do it anyway, because then you're gonna find a weird little cult sect, and it's gonna be great.
Yes, that's what it's like. You know, if somebody recognizes your costume, that they love something that you also love, so you can be in a weird little friendship together.
That will last for the 3 seconds you take that picture, and then who knows? I have a guy, Patrick Carlin. I met him at GalaxyCon. We were mutual friends on Twitter because of a podcast we listened to. We now exchange multiple memes every day. It is incredible. So yeah, you make friends through your love of shows and fandoms.
Yes.
Well, I think that is good, everyone. Thank you so much for everyone who was commenting and who joined in. Anyone who's watching this on the replay. We got so much love from the last one. So thank you guys for just appreciating 2 friends geeking out.
I never thought I would see support like this for me just talking about random fandoms and fun things with my best friends. So
oh my gosh, yes. Okay, yeah, Jilliann, best of best friends. Absolutely love it. Love you, love everything about it, and hopefully we can get back to cons sooner or later.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining. We're gonna tune out, and hopefully, you know, whenever the urge hits us, we'll do another one together. And maybe Q can join us this time. Fingers crossed he'll join. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye.
Click the button. Why won't it click? Oh my gosh.